Okay, thank you for coming. Let's get started. My name is Sue. And have you been to my webinar before? Some of you have. Yeah, last time I did my webinar was many months ago. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, as I said before, but I'll be okay once I start. So let's get started. Okay. So today's topic is non-fiction reading. Karina from Colombia. Hi, nice to see you. Yeah, so we'll be talking about non-fiction stories today. Okay? Look at this picture with llamas. This was in Peru. Do you like my picture? Yeah? Okay, so I'll be talking about non-fiction today. Let's look at the definition. This is from the Cambridge Dictionary, online dictionary, I think. So fiction, the type of book or story that is written about imaginary characters and events and not based on real people and facts. Okay, so fiction is imaginary characters and events, and it's not based on real people and it's not based on real facts. How about nonfiction? Nonfiction is the type of book or other writing that deals with facts about real people or real events, not imaginary stories. Okay, so today we'll be talking about nonfiction stories. Okay, now before we move on, let's do a quick survey. Do you see the survey? I have 3 questions. Okay, do you see 3 questions? Question number 1 is, do you like reading fiction or nonfiction? Okay. Number 2, do your students like reading fiction or nonfiction? And number 3, what's the title of the book you're reading now? If you are reading a book now, please write down the title of the book that you are reading now. Okay, you can start the survey. Do you see all 3 questions? Yeah, okay, so you can click fiction or nonfiction. Number 1, do you like reading fiction or nonfiction? Number 2, do your students like reading fiction or nonfiction? And number 3, what's the title of the book you're reading now? Number 4, don't worry about number 4. That was a mistake. Yeah, I tried to delete number 4 question, but somehow, yeah, I couldn't delete that. Okay, finished? Did you answer all 3 questions? Yeah? Okay, so I'll finish the survey and I'll share the result. Okay, did everybody answer the questions, 3 questions? Okay, I'll finish the survey and I'll share the result. Okay, do you see the result? Number 1, do you like reading fiction or nonfiction? 72% of you like fiction. Okay, and 56% like nonfiction. So more people like fiction. And number 2, you can see the survey. I just finished the survey, so you won't be able to see it now. But do you see the result? You should be able to see the result. If you cannot see the result, I'll be reading out the result anyway. And number 2, do your students like reading fiction or nonfiction? So students like 90% of your students like fiction and only 35% like nonfiction. So more students like fiction. Okay, and you write down the title of the book that you're reading now, right? Yeah, I'll show you what I'm reading now, actually. Okay. So this is the book I'm reading now. This is a Korean poetry. My friend gave this to me as a present. Do you want to see some Korean writing? Yeah, do you see some Korean characters? Yeah. Yes, this is what I'm reading now. Okay, so let's go back to the result of the survey. So more of you like reading fiction, and more of your students like reading fiction, right? So fiction is more popular among teachers and among students. Okay, that's the result I wanted to see. Okay, I'll go back to my slide. I did some web search and found these best sellers, right? Best fiction and nonfiction books for children. And this is from Goodreads website. And the most popular fiction is, of course, Harry Potter. Okay, and these are all very well-known titles like Charlotte's Web, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And the most popular nonfiction for children is The Diary of a Young Girl. And next, number 2 is George's Secret Key to the Universe. This is written by Lucy and Stephen Hawking. And then some books about animals and history and science and so on. However, these books can be quite difficult for our learners because our students are learning English as a foreign language, right? So these books are written for native children. So these books can be a little bit difficult for our students. If that's the case, our students can read graded readers, right, for fiction, or they can read eFuture reading skill books, okay, because these are graded. There are levels, and you can choose the right level for your students. Okay, so we'll be looking at more into these reading skill books later on. Okay, so we just finished the survey, and we found out that fiction stories are more popular among the teachers and among the students. Some teachers say, my students are only interested in fiction. Is that true? And most of our students read a lot more fiction than nonfiction. I mean, that seems to be the truth, right? However, think about this. Children love to read about real people, real places, and real events because they are naturally fascinated by the world around them, right? So by reading nonfiction stories, you may spark new interest for your students to discover. So let's look at the importance. Yeah, some students love to read about history. Yeah, some students do, and they love to read about animals and nature or science, right? Technology. So nonfiction helps students develop background knowledge, and it helps them with more difficult reading throughout their school years, right? So when they go to secondary school, when they go to university, they may have to face more nonfiction texts, right? And so it's a good practice for students to start reading nonfiction texts. And nonfiction presents real information in engaging and interesting ways using images, graphs, charts. Okay, so there will be a lot of interesting pictures and illustrations and bright images, right? Colorful images usually in nonfiction stories. And nonfiction is getting more important because of science and technology. Right? So nonfiction is getting more important, and it's very important for our students to read nonfiction readers so that they can ready for their academic years. And nonfiction for EFL students. Okay, EFL students may find nonfiction overwhelming. So you have to be very careful when you choose the books. Okay, you have to think about the level of your students, English level of your students. So choose the books that are level appropriate, right? So check the vocabulary, check the grammar, check your students' language level, right, before you choose the books. And think about the age appropriate concept. Okay, if the concept is too difficult for your student's grade or student's age level, then maybe you shouldn't choose that book. And choose the book that contains a wide range of interesting topics for students, so that they can be exposed to a wide range of topics. And here are some activities for nonfiction stories. Walk through the book. Okay, so before you read the book, you can walk through the book. You can look at the pictures, illustrations. You can look at the chart and talk about them right before you actually start reading the book. Make questions. Okay, so you can ask students to make questions before they actually read the book. Okay, so that they can find answers from while they are reading or after they read it. Make real life connections, right? This is quite important, right? You can make connections to the real life after reading the story, nonfiction story. Okay, and we will be doing some of these activities together. Okay, discuss fact and opinion. Nonfiction books are the best when you discuss fact and opinion, right? Use graphic organizers and mix nonfiction with fiction. So after reading a nonfiction story about animals, maybe tigers, lions, you can ask your students to write a story, a fiction story, right? Having a lion or a tiger as a character of the story, right? So you can mix nonfiction with fiction, and it'll be very interesting for your students. So extend lessons beyond the page. Okay, and we'll be doing this together throughout the session today. So I'll be using these books as examples. Okay, I'll be using Smart Reading and Reading Town and Hands-on History. So these three will be used as examples for today. Okay, and as you can see, these green parts are for primary and the blue parts are for secondary. Okay, and I know that some of you are using eFuture books. Maybe some of you are using eFuture course books for your primary level, Smart English or Let's Smile or Hand in Hand. Then you can use Smart Reading together with this series because the levels match. Okay, and our secondary course book is coming soon, right? English Wave. And if you decide to use our secondary course book, then you can use Reading Town, World, Planet, or Hands-on History together with our secondary course book. Okay, and we also have graded readers, fiction readers, right, from the starters level to B2 level. Okay, so let's look at Smart Reading first. Okay, so this is the first example that I'm going to use to do some activities together with you. So Smart Reading, let's look at the features. 3 in 1 book. Okay, so I know some of you are already using Smart Reading, but I'll show you the book. So this is the student book. If you look at the back of the book, you will see the workbook. Okay, workbook is actually contained, included inside the student book. Okay, and also there is a word book which is attached to the back of the student book. Okay, that's why it's 3 in 1: student book, workbook, and the word book. Okay, so you buy 1 book and you get 3. Okay, so 3 in 1 book, and you also get teacher's ebook if you use our platform, right? So actually that's 4 in 1, right? And systematically designed curriculum. So I'll show the, okay, let's look at this chart now. Why is it systematically designed curriculum? If you look at the levels, there are 6 levels, right? From level 1 to level 6. Look at the word count. That's how many words in each story, in each passage. So in level 1, we have 30 to 45 words. If you look at level 6, 180 to 230 words. Okay, so as you can see, the story gets longer and longer. There are more words in the stories. And Lexile score, you can see that it increases gradually. CFR from pre-A1 level to A2. And let's look at fiction and non-fiction ratio. Okay, in level 1, we have 14 fiction and 2 non-fiction. Okay, but if you look at level 2, 12 fiction and 4 non-fiction. And level 3, 8 fiction and 8 non-fiction. There's a balance in level 3. Okay, in the lower level, students may find non-fiction a little bit more difficult. That's why we have less number of non-fiction stories in level 1 and level 2. Okay, but we have the balance, the equal number of fiction and non-fiction in level 3. And then we have more non-fiction from level 4. Okay, 4 to 12. And level 5 and 6, all non-fiction. Okay, so you can see that we gradually increase the number of non-fiction stories, right, as the level goes up. Okay, so it's very systematic. And let's go back to the features. 1 theme, 2 stories. Okay, so if you look at this page, you can see that we have 1 theme, Under the Sea, and 2 stories. Right? Under the Sea is the theme, and Unit 1, Amazing Sharks. Unit 2, Animal Friends. 1 theme, 2 stories. To build up background knowledge and to expand ideas and to help students comprehend the stories and to recycle the vocabulary. Right? That's why we have 1 theme and 2 stories. And if you look at the content page, Under the Sea, science, right? We also have CLIL, right? School subject linked to the theme. Okay, so Under the Sea, Unit 1, 2 stories, and non-fiction, non-fiction. But if you look at the second theme, neighborhoods, and the school subject is social studies, Unit 3, a surprise, Unit 4, helping out. Unit 3 is fiction, Unit 4 is non-fiction. Okay, so if you look at the content page, you can get the information about the stories. Okay, and let's go back to the feature page. Content based on school subject, we just saw that, right? Social science, social studies, science, math, art, right? We have many different kinds of school subjects related to the topics. And new ebook, I'm going to show you the ebook in a minute. We have video link, audio QR, and also workbook is included. There are some new features in the ebooks. And we also provide A2 key Cambridge exam prep test with all our smart reading series. Okay. And I want to emphasize the importance of vocabulary. As you saw before, we include a word book in the student book, right? Because vocabulary is important for reading. Okay, vocabulary is one of the 5 essential components of reading. As you can see in the flower, we have phonemic awareness, phonics, and vocabulary, right? It takes an important part in the components of reading. And then comprehension and fluency. Okay, do you see this sentence here? Can you read this sentence? Try reading the sentence. I skomzived, boulder dashed, and meal-tived yesterday. Okay, you can all read the sentence, right? But do you understand the sentence? What does it mean? What does it mean? Yesterday, what did I do? What happened? We don't understand, right? Why? Because we don't know these words. Skomzived. What does it mean? Boulder dashed. What does that mean? Meal-tived. We don't understand, right? So we can read a sentence, but we don't understand because we don't know the words, right? So this is an example to show you how important the words are, right? We have to know the words to understand the sentence. Yeah, no idea, right? Yeah. So that's why vocabulary is very important. And that's why we provide a word book. Right? Vocabulary is especially important for nonfiction readers because, you know, nonfiction stories might contain some technical words, right? Sometimes, or some difficult words, right? That's why we provide word book to do some extra practice with the words, right? This is a page from our word book. Okay, so students can look at the words again, they can write the sentence, they can read the sentence, and they can practice the vocabulary again and again. Okay, so now let's look at the actual book content, okay, and we can do some activities together, right? So this is the theme introduction page. Okay, so Unit 1, Amazing Sharks. So we'll be reading about sharks and we'll be finding out some interesting information about the sharks, right? And as you can see, there is a video button, okay? And you can watch the video to discuss and to find out more information about the topic, right? Before you actually read. And it'll be more interesting if you watch the video, right? So that's why we provide video links for all our smart reading series. Okay, so look at the picture. Remember that activity? You walk through the book, right? So let's go to our platform and I can show you the actual ebook. Okay, do you see the ebook? Yes, okay, very good. So this is the ebook. And if you click the video button, you can watch the video. But let's do the picture walk first. Okay, so look at this shark, right? They're huge, right? Compare the size with a human, right? And there are some interesting pictures too, right? Look at this one. Wow, do you see the teeth? Right, very sharp. Okay, and do you see this very small baby shark? Right? Do you see it? Yeah. And look at this. People are swimming here, right? What are they doing? They're swimming. Maybe they're snorkeling together with a shark. Wow. Very interesting, right? Do you want to try this? Swimming with a shark? Maybe. Maybe not. Are you scared of shark? Okay, so you can ask these questions, right? And you can walk through the book. You can look at the pictures and talk about the pictures, right? Before you actually read the stories. Let's watch the video, right? We are not going to watch the whole video, maybe just the beginning part.
Get ready for things you want to know. This underwater creature.
Okay, do you see the video? Maybe I should share the video. Yeah?
Creature has beady eyes, a toothy jaw, and is oftentimes the main attraction in some scary movies. Sharks. But what are they? Fish? Or superheroes? If you guessed both, then you're right. Shark.
Okay, so interesting video, right? Yeah, so you can watch the video together with your students, right? And after watching the video, you can come back to the book, right? Okay. And then, oh, sorry, I should share the ebook. Okay, so we have the keywords, right? And do you see the QR codes here? Right, this you can go directly to the audio streaming. Okay, so you can listen to the audio from here. And you can also listen to the audio by clicking the audio button here, right? So let's try this.
They can smell one drop of blood in a swimming pool. But do not worry. Sharks eat fish, not people.
Okay, so you can listen to the audio. You can read it together with your students, right? And while you are reading, there is a question, right? Which shark is the biggest? So while you are reading, you can try to find the answer to the question, right? There's a while reading question. And after you read, you can do the comprehension check. And there's a graphic organizer here. Okay, remember one of the activities we talked about a graphic organizer. So you can do the graphic organizer and you can do the summary writing. Okay, so there are activities already included in the book, and also there are extra activities you can do, right? And you can download a worksheet from our website or our platform to do more activities. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the slide. And we also provide Cambridge prep test, right? So when you finish the book, you can try the Cambridge prep test. Okay, it follows the same format as Cambridge prep test, so it'll be a good practice for your students. Okay, so that was smart reading. Okay, now let's look at reading Town, World, and Planet, right? So we'll be using one of the passage from the book as examples. Okay, so this is a reading program for secondary level. Okay, reading Town, reading World, and reading Planet. And the level is B1 to B2. Okay, text length, B1, 200 to 320 words for reading Town. And then reading Planet, we have 380 to 500 words. So the text is getting longer and longer as the level goes up. Okay, and the keywords, 8 keywords for reading Town, 10 keywords for reading World, and 12 keywords for reading Planet. Okay, so there are more words as the level goes up. Let's look at the features. 15 reading skills for academic success and exam prep. Okay, so there are 15 reading skills you will practice, right, throughout the books, right, the series. So here are the 15 reading skills. Okay, and they are very, very important because you will need these reading skills for academic success and exam preparation, right? Whether it's Cambridge exam or TOEIC, TOEFL exam, you need these reading skills, right? So let's look at the reading skills, right? Number 1, scanning for information. Okay, why don't we read these reading skills together, right? Rather than me reading all 15 reading skills, right? I'll let you do some work. Okay, let's read from skill number 1 to skill number 15. Let's read it together. Okay, ready? 1, scanning for information. 2, identifying main ideas and supporting details. 3, understanding words in context. 4, identifying reference. 5, making inferences. 6, identifying purpose. 7, recognizing restatements. 8, identifying method. 9, identifying coherence. 10, sequencing. 11, compare and contrast. 12, classification. 13, identifying cause and effect. 14, identifying fact and opinion. 15, identifying ideas for and against. Okay, did you read all 15 skills? Yeah? They are very important skills, right? You agree? Yeah, yes. So reading Town, World, Planet, we will practice these 15 reading skills. Okay? And reading skills are practiced repeatedly so that students can consolidate their reading skills step by step. Okay? And we have extended language skills too. So it's not only reading and comprehension check and skill practice, but there are also discussion questions. There's a summary writing, okay, and there are a lot of vocabulary review, okay, and we'll look at this together. And also a variety of topics, okay. So if you go to ETS TOEFL website, they provide some tips to improve your reading skills. Okay, I want to show you this website because you will see how our Reading Town, World, Planet actually practice these reading skills, right, that ETS recommends, right? We follow the same ways, we follow the same method, right, to improve your reading skills. So let's look at some of the reading skills, right? So reading in English as much as often as you can. Of course, right? To improve reading skills, you have to read a lot, right? Read texts on a variety of topics. This is very important. Read both academic and non-academic materials, right? In other words, fiction and non-fiction materials. Okay? And read about subjects that interest you and about subjects that don't interest you. So it's important to read a wide range of topics, okay? And to get exposed to many different topics. And write basic questions to test your understanding of a text. Okay, so we talked about this before, right? You write down the questions before you read and you try to find the answers. If you look at the topics, right, in Reading Town 1, let's just look at the topics. Animals, to be cats, the origins of names, technology, sports, arts, health, environmental issues, smart living, our earth, a how-to guide, right? As you can see, the topic is, this is a wide range of topics, right? And these are very interesting, okay? So try to read many different topics. And if you use Reading Town, World, Planet, you just naturally do that because we include a wide range of topics. And we will look at one of the units, tigers as pets, right? And before we look at the units, let's look at the discussion questions, pre-reading, right? We talked about making questions, and the book actually provides the questions for pre-reading questions. Look at the picture above and discuss. Look at the picture above, tiger as pets. Okay, what do you see in the picture? Do you see the girl and the baby tiger? What's she doing? She's feeding the baby tiger, right? She's giving the milk. And look at this tiger. It's just like a dog, right? Do you see the leash? Yeah, and a person is petting on the tiger. So what is happening in the pictures? Would you like to have a pet tiger? Would you like to have a pet tiger? Some would say yes, some would say no, right? Number 2, do you agree or disagree? Compare and discuss your answers. Tigers make very good pets. Agree or disagree? What do you think? So here, there's no correct or wrong answers, right? This is what you think, what you believe, right? Caring for a tiger is very expensive. Agree or disagree? The life of a pet tiger is happy. Agree or disagree? Right? This will create a lot of interesting discussion, right? Imagine you're doing this with your students. Yeah, there'll be a lot of interesting discussions, right? Yeah. Okay. And use your knowledge of grammar to understand difficult sections. Look at the pronouns and find the nouns that they refer to. Okay, this is our reference reading skill. Okay, so let's look at some of the examples in the book. So in the book, we have many different reading skills, as I said before, right? And look at this particular activity. Identifying reference. Okay, this is to practice identifying reference. And if you look at the reading skill tip here, a referent refers to something that has been mentioned before. Substitute the possible answer for the referent and see if the sentence makes sense. So we provide the tip for the students, okay, when they do this activity, identifying reference. So in line 19, what does they refer to? Okay, so you have to find out what this they refer to. Is it pet owners, wild tigers, or pet tigers? So this is line 19. Do you see they here in orange? Because they must always live in a cage, the life of a pet tiger is sometimes unhappy. So what do they refer to? Pet tigers, right? So by doing this type of activity, you will be practicing identifying reference skill. Okay? Okay, good. Now, continually expand your vocabulary knowledge. It is important to increase your vocabulary on many subjects because you will have to read about various topics at university and make a plan for studying new words. Write a new word on one slide of a card and the definition on the back. Okay, so this encourages students to learn, to expand their vocabulary knowledge. Right? So in our Reading Town World Planet books, we have the key vocabulary and we provide the definition. Okay, and students will have to find the word from the passage and then write down the words here, right? Read the definition and then find the word and then write down the word. Okay, and we also have vocabulary practice. So you know the meaning of the word. Now you should be able to use the words in the sentences, right? So this is to practice using the words in the sentence. Okay. And then study vocabulary by making a list of opposites and synonyms. Okay, and that's why we provide synonyms and antonyms. Okay, so you look at the words and then you write the synonyms and antonyms, and you review the words. Okay, so this is from Reading Town, Book 1. And learn to recognize different organizational styles. Okay, so look for the main ideas of the article, look for the supporting details, and write a summary of the text. And we do that in our Reading Town books. Okay, so we pay attention to connecting words and transitions like first, second, next, finally, right? This will give you some kind of clue, okay, what's going to happen, right, in the passage. And then we also look for because and since for reasons. And as a result, so, therefore, to find out the results. Okay, and all these things are to practice these reading skills, right? Remember the 15 reading skills? Yeah? Okay, so let's look at the actual passage and then do the activities together, right? So I'll go back to our platform. I know that some of you are using our platform, right? And let me share the screen. Okay, so this is our platform, and we saw sorry, I accidentally closed the website. Sorry about that. Let me open the website again. I mean the platform. Okay, and I'll find the Reading Town book. Okay, I got it here. Let me share the screen. Okay, do you see Reading Town ebook? Yes? Okay, very good. So we saw this content page, right, earlier to check out the topics, right? And let's go to Unit 1. Okay, so Unit 1, animals, 2 big cats. And look at the picture, right? Wow, look at this tiger. And remember, 1 topic, 2 stories. So lesson 1 is lions around the world. Okay. And lesson 2 is tigers as pets. Okay, so we'll look at tigers as pets. We looked at this picture earlier, and we looked at the discussion questions, and we look at the key vocabulary, right? Yeah. And let's listen to the passage, right? So that you become familiar with the content of the passage. Okay, let's listen first.
Lesson 2. Tigers as pets. Having a pet tiger would be great, wouldn't it? It seems that many people agree, at least in the United States. Born Free USA, an association that helps protect wild animals, says that there are 5,000 to 7,000 tigers owned as pets in the USA. 5,000 to 7,000 is a very large number of tigers. It is even more than the number of tigers living in the wild.
Okay, let's stop there, right? Isn't it surprising? 5,000 to 7,000, right? Wow, pet tigers, so many pet tigers, right? And we also have a video, right? We can watch the video a little bit.
완벽한 흰색은 이래요. I am there.
Okay. Okay, do you see the video?
Mother. As far as they're concerned, I am mommy. They rub me in the face. They'll let me kiss them on the nose.
Having pet cats may sound run-of-the-mill, but Janice Haley has taken her love of felines to the extreme, keeping 2 huge tigers in her back garden. Sabre, a 600-pound male white Bengal, and Janda, a 400-pound Bengal female, have lived with Janice since they were cubs. Despite tigers having a fearsome reputation, Janice has never been short of people wanting to help out.
Oh, here we go. Pretty much everyone that comes here to interact with their family.
Like most young males, Sabre can get a little boisterous.
Okay, let's stop the video here. Okay, did you enjoy the video? Yeah? Would you like to have a pet tiger? Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Yeah. Okay. You like the video? Okay, that's good. That's very good. Okay, now let's go back to the ebook. Okay, let's look at some of the activities. Okay, look at this one, scanning for information, right? So scanning for information, this is the skill that we are practicing, right? And we provide a tip. Okay, let's look at the next activity, identifying main ideas, and we provide a tip. Okay, every paragraph has a main idea. Often, but not always, the main idea is contained in a topic sentence. Okay, so we find the main idea. So which is the main idea of paragraph 2, which is the main idea of paragraph 3. Okay, and then we have graphic organizer here. Organizing information, compare and contrast. So we compare and contrast the, we find the information to fill out the chart. Okay, baby tigers as pets, grown-up tigers as pets. We compare and contrast. Okay. And more activities, right, to practice the reading skills, understanding words in context, identifying reference, making inferences. Okay, remember the 15 reading skills, right? We read them together, right? You remember. And they are all here, as you can see, right? And we provide the tips. Okay, and here we practice the vocabulary. Okay, synonyms and antonyms, and more discussion questions. Number 1, what are the good points and bad points of owning a pet tiger? Okay. Why do you think people have pets? Which animals make good pets? Why? Okay, so again, this will create a lot of interesting discussions, right? So you can do this as a whole class activity, or you can divide the class into small teams, and then you can do it as a group activity. And we have a writing practice here, right? I think, or I don't think, it would be great to have a pet tiger because, okay, so students can write their opinion, and then they can share this with the whole class. Okay? And when you finish this, you can go to the review page, summary and discussion. Okay, so you write a summary. But then, you know, it's not easy to write the summary. You need to give some kind of support, right? So that's why we provide a guideline like this. Lesson 1 summary and lesson 2 summary. And students will read these sentences and then they'll choose the sentences. Okay, 3 main ideas of each passage. And then 2 supporting details, right, are included here. So they'll have to choose the main ideas and then write them down here. Okay, so this will be a good practice for students, right? And when they get used to this kind of activity, then they can write the summary by themselves, right? So we provide the guidelines. And the more vocabulary review, and there's a puzzle. Okay, so yeah, lots of activities included in the book. Okay, and they are all very useful and effective activities to develop and to practice reading skills. Okay, now let's go back to my slide. Okay, are you okay? Are you following me okay, everyone? Yeah? Okay, now the last one I want to share with you is hands-on history. Okay, so, oh yeah, oh sorry, I forgot. So when you finish the reading activities, what you can do is you can do a class survey or you can do a project, maybe research project. Okay, so you can do a survey. Is it acceptable to keep animals in zoos? What do you think? You can do a survey, right? Yes or no? And then students can find out more about wild animals in zoos or wild animals as pets. Okay, and they can do research and then they can do presentations, right? Now we can do hands-on history. Okay, so hands-on history is, this will help students building critical thinking and global awareness. Okay, because it has very interesting stories and you can compare the history with the present, and this will develop critical thinking skills, and you learn about other culture and other countries, and you connect that with your own country, your own culture. Okay, this is personalization. And again, you can do a lot of extension work. You can do project and research or discussions, right? So hands-on history, there are 4 books, and it covers the world history, right? From 3000 BC to 1950 AD. And there are lots of interesting pictures, right? It's very attractive, right? Look at this. Wow, look at this page, right? There are lots of pictures to help students understand the story. And we always provide timeline because timeline is very important for history. Okay, if you look at this one, 1250 BC, Egypt becomes the world's strongest country, right? So interesting facts. And the stories are divided into sections. Okay, so it's not too much for students. Sometimes, you know, some history books provide too much information because most of the history books are written for native students, right? It can be very difficult and it might contain too much information for students. So stories are broken down into achievable sections, as you can see, right? There's part 1, and there's part 2, and there is always a map to help students understand the background. And so let's listen to the story, right? Not the whole story, but maybe the just beginning part. So you can see the level of the story. So this is about the Egyptians.
Unit 2, Civilization on the Nile. Lesson 1, The Egyptians. While the Sumerians were busy building cities, another civilization began along the longest river in the world. The Kingdom of Egypt started on the riverbanks of the Nile about 5,000 years ago.
Okay? So you can read together, or you can listen and repeat, or you can just listen first, looking at the picture. Okay, you can do many different types of activities with the audio. And there's a graphic organizer, okay, to see the structure of the story and to see the historical events visually. Okay. And then there's always a journal writing. So after reading about the history, historical events, okay, students can reflect on themselves. Okay, so let's listen to this. This is fill in the blank activity, but this is also a journal writing. Okay, so let's listen to the audio and look at the text.
Unit 2, Civilization on the Nile. Lesson 2, The Pyramids of Giza. Today in class, we learned about ancient Egypt. Our teacher told us that kings called pharaohs ruled Egypt, and they were very powerful. The Egyptians even believed the pharaohs were gods.
Okay. So this is like writing a journal, right? But students don't have to write their own journal. They can just do this together. They can fill in the blanks, right, as a practice. And maybe in the future, they can write their own story, right? This is connecting nonfiction with fiction, right? A very good activity, very useful. And after reading the text, you can do a research project. Okay, you can compare different cultures, right? Different countries. So this is the pyramid in Egypt. Students can, if you are from Mexico, maybe you can learn something about Mexico, right? Because there are pyramids in Mexico too. And I found out that there are pyramids in Ecuador too, right? Isn't it interesting? So you do research project, and then you can share the information together, right, with other students. You can do presentations, right? So this will help students with global awareness, personalization, and making connection with real life. So after doing this kind of activity, maybe you can visit a museum together with your students, right? And you can watch a movie together with your students. You can do many interesting things together, right? And this is not really a pyramid, but these are the royal tombs in Korea, right? So look at this. It looks a little bit like hills, mountains, small mountains, but these are actually tombs, right? And look at this. Inside these tombs, well, you can actually go inside one of these tombs. Okay, it's a very popular tourist attractions in Korea. And, when you come to Korea, maybe you can visit this place, right? It's very interesting. And when you go inside the tomb, you will see something like this. You can actually see the coffin and some jewels, right? Like golden jewelry and some artifacts. Okay. Of course, they remove all the real items to the museum, and the things inside the tomb is not the real one, but you can see how they were positioned, when they excavated this tomb. Okay. Look at this gold crown. So this is from Shilla, which was a Korean kingdom that existed between 57 BC and 935 CE. Okay, isn't it interesting? So you can compare, right? You can talk about your own culture and you can compare different culture, right? And you know how history always repeats itself, right? So you can compare the history with the current situation. Okay, you can do many interesting things with history, right? So summary. Okay, we looked at 3 different series. We looked at smart reading, we looked at reading Town, World, Planet, and we looked at hands-on history, right? We looked at all the non-fiction passages, right? And reading interesting and informative non-fiction passages on a variety of topics like animals, technology, sports, environment, history, nature, right? This will help students improve reading skills for academic reading and exam prep, and develop other skills like writing, speaking, presentation, and research. And you can expand background knowledge and interests, right? So these are the benefits of reading nonfiction stories. Remember this chart, right? So we have smart reading for primary level, and reading Town, World, Planet for secondary level. And we also have hands-on history, right? So we looked at these 3 series today, but of course we have fictions too, right? Graded readers for classic readers, comic readers. So it's good to have the balance between fiction and non-fiction, right? It's good for students to experience both fiction and non-fiction, okay? And yeah, that's all I have for you today. We did some activities together, and I hope you can use some of these activities for your class, right? And yeah, so that's all from me today. Do you have any questions? We will be uploading this webinar video on our YouTube. Here's the QR code for our YouTube channel. There are many webinar videos, model lesson videos, and book information, teaching tips, games, right? A lot of things on our YouTube. And if you are on Facebook or Instagram, you will get updates about our webinar information and book information, right? All those things. If you have any questions, you can email us, inquiry@eltkorea.com. And you can look at the sample pages of some of the books that I introduced today at our website, right? If you go to our website, you can look at the sample pages of all our series, okay? And please fill in the survey, then you can get the certificate, right? And there are links on the chat box, right? Okay, and I forgot to share our distribution partners information. I'm sorry about that. I forgot the chart. We have our partners in many different countries. You can connect them. You can contact them to get more information about our books. But I forgot to include that information. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I did my last webinar. Sorry about that. But if you have any questions, if you want to know where you can buy the books, or if you want to be in touch with our partners in your country, please email us. Here's the email, right? inquiry@eltkorea.com, right? And here my last slide. I went there last month in Peru, right? The Rainbow Mountain. And let's look at this quote. Oh, sorry. What does it say? The more you read, the more things you know, the more that you learn, the more places you will go, right? Okay, so have lots of fun with your students with non-fiction stories. Please try non-fiction stories with your students, right? And please do the survey and get the certificate. You can download the webinar PPT from this link, okay? And you can also watch the video. We'll be uploading the webinar video on our YouTube. Okay, that's all from me today. And yeah, have lots of fun with your students using nonfiction, right? Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. Okay, bye everyone. And we'll be back with more webinars, right? Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Have a great day and good night to some of you. Okay, bye-bye.